joined by Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Comissiong, and he's brought along beauty today. Indeed. Good morning to you, Ambassador.
Morning, morning, Pearson. Pleasure to be here.
Good to have you back as well. And with him is Dr. Marielle Barrow-Maignan. I got it right.
You got it right.
Thank you. Thank you. The husband will not forgive me if I got it wrong. Indeed. Well, welcome to Barbados, indeed.
Thank you.
And you're here part of the big conversations as part of Carifesta, right?
Yes, I am.
Good. So
she's the coordinator, both for the big conversations and for the symposium.
Wow.
The big conversations are the more populist discussions that you kind of take into the community. The symposium are those that the discussions that are more for university type academic setting.
We will delve into all of that. And thank you for setting that straight.
Yes.
We will delve further into that indeed. But we were in Mexico. Talk to me a little bit about what that meant and why were you there?
Yes, I know I have a duty to report.
Yes.
Last week, you didn't see me last week because Honorable Colin Jordan, our Minister of Labour, Social Security and the Third Sector, and myself, we represented Barbados in Mexico City at the Pan American Congress. This was the second Pan American Congress. That's a gathering that brings together progressive Congress people, parliamentarian, members of parliament from Canada in the north all the way down to Argentina in the south. Once again, we were the only Caribbean nation there. This is the second year now. I've complained to them about this, that Barbados should not be the only Caribbean nation representing the entire Caribbean. So hopefully that message sinks in. But the whole idea is to bring together these legislators to form a kind of network to support each other in a progressive agenda for our region, you know, an agenda of democracy, peace, confronting the climate crisis, giving solidarity to each other. And so we are on our way. It's something that is being built. And the first Congress was in Colombia last year. This year is Mexico. Next year is Uruguay, Montevideo. And maybe, just maybe in 2027, it might be somewhere in the Caribbean. We'll see, we'll see. But yes, I think I was willing to sacrifice my pick of the crop, my Emancipation Day, my Kadooment Day. I was willing to sacrifice all of that because I thought that building this new institution is so important.
No, that was a big sacrifice. It must be on the scale of everything indeed. But looking at the challenges that this region faces and that grouping faces, what were some of the key elements that were up for discussion?
Well, I mean, we looked at we looked at the common challenges all across the region. If you know, the meeting ended with a declaration, and I could probably just quote the final paragraphs, and we came together, we agreed to forge solidarity that transcends borders, to support all peoples fighting for sovereignty, dignity and justice, creating bonds of mutual aid that strengthen our collective resistance to exploitation and oppression, and recognizing that our liberation is interconnected from the Gaza Strip to all corners of the American continent. We agree to unite to combat the politics of fear, hate, division, bigotry, exploitation, and exclusion in our hemisphere, refusing to be complacent amidst the rise of authoritarian forces that menace our democracies. We will collaborate in our respective legislatures to advance our own vision of hemispheric cooperation based on solidarity between peoples and sovereignty among nations. So that will give you an idea, you know, all of the challenges. We know them only too well. And we discuss them, all of the challenges that we are facing, and that seek to divide us. You know, there are forces out there that are spreading division and exclusion and stigmatizing people, and we are saying, no, this is not the Americas that we want, we are going to come together and fight for something different, you know? Yeah.
The trade of people, I know that's a concern from international organizations as well. Our labor minister was there, social security minister was there as well. Let's talk a little bit about, was that a discussion
Of course,
point?
the whole migration crisis, right? That's all of the, that's more even more important for the Latin American, Central American countries, Mexico, than for us in the Caribbean. But yes, all of those issues, you know, how we are how we are treating our Haitian brothers and sisters, the sanctions that we're imposing on countries like Cuba and Venezuela, making life very difficult for the peoples of those countries. So yes, it was a very general discussion, but the beauty of it is that, you know, quite often we come together in Latin America and the Caribbean, but to have in that gathering, we have members of parliament from Canada.
Yes.
Members of the Congress, the U.S. Congress. So, you know, these progressive Congress women, they call them the squad. So they were all there at the conference. So it is really a consolidation of important political leaders that share a common vision of human solidarity and social democracy, workers' rights.
Yes.
You know, respecting the rights of migrants, creating a hemisphere of decency and cooperation, as opposed to what some other people would seek to want to impose upon us.
It's a global issue, and so to have those global leaders all there to be able to tackle what is a global issue or issues was important indeed. Did you get a sense that our North American attendees really appreciate the challenges that are faced by us from the South?
Well, they're facing their own challenges. I mean, after hearing a couple of these congresswomen speak about the domestic challenges they're facing, you know, I said to a couple of them, you all need to make contact with and develop a relationship with our Caribbean community. You know, within our Caribbean community, we have prime ministers, we have ministers of foreign affairs, we have ambassadors. Maybe we could give you some solidarity and help you in your struggles. So, so yes, you know, it has to be about mutual support. They can help us, of course. It's always good to have powerful voices in the U.S. Congress. There's so many issues of trade and immigration that we need that kind of advocacy in the halls of power in Washington. But we can help them too, because we have elements of governance that they, you know, even though we may be much smaller, but we operate on the international scene at the level of the United Nations, the OAS, heads of government, ministers of foreign affairs, etc.
Dr. Marielle, I'm watching you as you're watching Ambassador speak as well. I see you nod from time to time, but I see an interest because the voice of the Caribbean is sounding, and especially in fora where the conversation is also rich. And I'm leading into the big conversations that will be happening at Carifesta. As a coordinator of those conversations, what do you see to be the Caribbean's voice, and how do you see those conversations amplifying that voice?
So the Caribbean really needs to have a lot more cultural confidence, right? We need to respect our own voice, love our own voice, and recognize that there's a place for it on, you know, our local stages and our world stages. And I think that is at the heart of the conversations that we're going to be having. How do we build that cultural confidence in various domains? And so that has to do with climate change and how our cultural, you know, identity reflects itself in climate change and how we bring those stories forth. And we also have to recognize that, you know, culture is one of our richest, really, our richest outputs in the region. It's where we can sail on the world stage and I want to say be dominant, right? Because sometimes we can't compete on things like technology or other things that need a larger population to scale. But what we do have is our culture. And I think that's at the heart of the big conversations. I mean, we have socio-political conversations. We have what we call the transversal sectors, so how culture interacts with tourism, how it interacts with, again, climate change, education. So it is a range of big conversations that we're going to be having. And I'm really excited to be collaborating with Ambassador Comissiong on this, where he's bringing a lot of the socio-economic and political conversations to bear. So, you know, we're talking Cuba to Haiti, but we're also talking about AI and dance. And, you know, how do we take our spiritual resonances in dance and translate them into AI? And again, that's about cultural authenticity. So this is, you know, where we're going with the big conversations.
Ambassador, let's put this into context, because we're looking at all conversations on CARICOM.
Well, the word that needs to go out from here to all of Barbados is that we have started the 10-day countdown to Carifesta. Today is what, the 12th? Carifesta starts on the 22nd. So we start our countdown from today. We have 10 days to go. And, you know, Carifesta is the Caribbean's premier arts festival. I mean, you have everything from music to dance to culinary arts, to film, to photography,
Theatre.
you know, sculpture, painting, theatre, you name it. But you also have talk and discussion. And this is where Marielle comes in, because Marielle has been charged with coordinating two aspects of Carifesta. The big conversations, and the big conversations are discussions that will take place in the community, in public spaces like Golden Square Freedom Park or the Marcus Garvey Amphitheater, that are really directed at our people, you know, very popular. And then the symposiums, which are a bit more academic,
Right.
and more have a university connection. But I was asked to collaborate with Marielle on both the big conversations and the symposium. So we are very excited because Carifesta, we are going to be presenting to the Barbadian people and all the visitors. There are going to be thousands and thousands of visitors from not just across the Caribbean, I would say across the world, who are going to be coming. And we are going to be discussing some very, very important and intriguing topics. And we really want to encourage the Barbadian people to come out. Don't just come out for the concerts and the dance and so forth. Come out for the big conversations, because as Marielle was explaining, part of Carifesta really is about instilling confidence in our people, instilling clarity of vision, because at the end of the day, Carifesta is something that is developmental. It's about how do we, you know, use the arts to bring our people together, to give them that vision, that inspiration, that impetus to go forward and face all of the challenges that we were speaking about in the first segment. So, having said all of that, I would really leave it to Marielle now to help us go through some of those big topics that we want teachers, public servants, ministers of religion, young people, everybody to come out and let us come together and get this and engage with each other and get this clarity of vision about who we are, our strengths, and where we are going as a Caribbean civilization.
Indeed. So, having heard all of that, Marielle, now talk to us a little bit about these conversations. I know the public spaces are everywhere, and there's a conversation every day.
There are several conversations every day, so let me emphasize that. And I really love what Ambassador said about Carifesta being an opportunity and, you know, a space for development. And I think this is really, really critical, and that is what these conversations are grounded in. How do we have the real discussions? And so that is from glowing up and branding beyond borders. How do we make ourselves a brand? Because, you know, as unique as we are, sometimes we are not really willing to sell our brand to the world. And so that is a really important conversation, and we have persons joining us from Haiti and the Haitian diaspora, Marc-Alain Bukiko, Shaina Silva. We have another young lady who's a fashionista from Belize, Ronelli Requena, in that conversation. And so we're looking across borders from film and TV to fashion and, you know, other subsectors to think about how do we brand ourselves. So I think that cross-sectoral interaction is one of the things that we want to emphasize in these big conversations. It's not just that theater stands by itself and film stands by itself, but how do we have the conversation across the board. We have power, paint, and politics, and so this I would say is Ambassador Comissiong's one of his interventions, and we're looking at how do artists lead the charge, especially when we're in these moments of distress and discomfort as nations, as people. How do artists give foresight and vision to do things in a new way?
Let me just stop you there. Power, paint, and politics. The role of Caribbean culture, arts, and artists in an age of disorder and neo-imperialist resurgence. And that's going to be at Golden Square Freedom Park on Tuesday, the 26th of August, starting at 4:30
Yes.
in the afternoon.
And most of these big conversations are just about 2 hours. You have it's time. You have good time to really engage in conversation.
You have good time, but it's also experiential.
Yes.
And so we want to talk about how that it is a grounded experience. You can come and raise your voice, but you can also come and raise a brush. And you can paint something, or you know, you can dance, or you can express yourself using your own mediums. And I think that is really, really important, because as Caribbean people, we use our body to express ourselves, right? Our bodies. And so these are experiential conversations. It's not just about, oh, I come and I talk. No, we can sing it, we can dance it, we can have a storytelling circle about it and interact with each other. So the audience is given place to express themselves as well and to really engage in the conversation. And I think that's really the way in which it differs from the symposium.
I think one of the things that jumped out to me was the inclusion of the Rastafari, to hear from them. Because there's segments and sectors in our community who sometimes feel big conversations for the academic alone. I know you placed it in the context, Ambassador. This one is for the people. This is for all of us in people's spaces, hearing the voices of the people. And so let's talk a little bit about that, because we don't want any sector to feel marginalized. Broadly, the space for everyone, and then specifically the Rastafari.
So the Rastafarian community has created their own way of life, and I think it's fascinating. I don't want to take the place to try and speak on their behalf, because I want to learn from them. And so this is the space to come out and learn and be a part of what they have created and gain a deeper understanding of their practices, because they have created community at a different level. They have created business at a different level. And I really believe there's a lot to learn from that within the region. And you know, they've also resisted in a way that is, I think, exemplary, and that we can take something from in our own practices in our daily lives. So their conversation, I think, is going to be really, really rich, and I am personally looking forward to it, because I want to know more.
Yes, yes. One of those conversations is the idea of Barbados. I loved when Prime Minister Gonzalez, at a speech a few years ago, raised that as a topic. It inspired us then, even as a choir, the Barclays Singers. We actually did a production called The Idea of Barbados. And so here it is now, it's back as one of the conversations.
Well, it's the lead-off conversation. On the Saturday, the 23rd of August at Golden Square Freedom Park. And why we thought, okay, I mean, we have conversations on Cuba, we have conversations on Haiti, we have conversations on the colonial territories within the Caribbean, their decolonial mission. But we thought, hey, Carifesta is in Barbados. Barbados this year is commemorating the 400th anniversary of the first British landing on Barbados. It's a very important milestone. Let us use Prime Minister Gonzalez's concept of the idea of Barbados to explore this 400-year history what does it mean, not just for Barbados, what does it mean for our Caribbean civilization? And so that is going to be the lead-off big conversation, and I want to invite everybody to come to Golden Square on the Saturday the 23rd, because you're going to hear Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley, Sir Hilary Beckles, and Dr. June Suma, former Secretary General of the Association of Caribbean States. And they're going to be moderated by no less than the Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett. So this is going to be a very, very powerful grounding when we discuss our country, Barbados, and what it means, and what that history means for our present and our future. So we're going to share with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. And then, of course, the following day, the Sunday, the 24th, we are back again at Golden Square with Talking Cuba and Fidel. Of course, we're talking about Fidel Castro. And you know, 2026 will be Fidel's centenary. 2026. But Fidel came to Barbados on 3 official visits. In fact, Barbados is one of the countries that he perhaps visited most. So we're going to have this brilliant lineup of Cubans. Nancy Morion, Cuba's legendary female poet, the Deputy Minister of Culture, and you know, and so we're going to get a good insight into this enigmatic Caribbean country known as Cuba. And then, you know, there's several others. I can't go through them all.
No, we can't. I know, but there's a calendar of all of this on the on the website carifesta.net. 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 That's where you can go to see everything happening. And you plan yourselves accordingly, but there are conversations happening every day across the island in different places and spaces. And so it's important that we all get there. Dr. Marielle, at the end of it all, having had all the conversation in the world, what do you see happening?
I think it's really important for Carifesta to have a legacy. And I'm hoping that Big Conversations is a part of that legacy, and that we can take actionable outcomes from our conversations and implement them in policy, implement them, you know, in the creative sector, to professionalize our creative sector, because that is so key. So many times, you know, others come in and professionalize for us, or take, you know, the pick, the pick of the crop, right? And, you know, and make money off of it. And it's our turn. It's our turn, and we need to do this well, and we need to come together. We need to collectivize to do this across the region. So I am hoping that this becomes a platform that can extend beyond Carifesta and really have regional impact.
Time to raise our voices, people. Time to raise our voices, people. Time to raise our voices in conversation, big conversations, as part of Carifesta 2025, Carifesta 15. That number, yes, indeed. And so it's happening everywhere. Remember, go to the website carifesta.net, and you'll see for yourself every single activity. Then you plan your life around those activities between the 22nd and the 31st. There is something for everyone at every space and every age. And so we want you to get out and explore. Let Barbados be, let the roads be blocked, because people are just trying to get to spaces and places indeed. Ambassador, we've got to wrap it up there. But again, thanks for joining us for our conversations on CARICOM. I know, like you, excited about what Carifesta brings to the region and to Barbados as well, and to our people, because people are at the center of everything we do.
I mean, if we're talking CARICOM, Caribbean Community, Carifesta,
It's our biggest.
University of the West Indies, West Indies Cricket, the Carifesta Games, these are the institutions that really make the integration meaningful at a people level.
All is the people.
Yes, Barbados, this is our opportunity to shine and to interact with all of our guests who are going to be coming to Barbados. Let us take full advantage of it.
Well said.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.